Hello everyone. Today we're going to make this Ruana. You just saw pictures of at the beginning. I just want to real quick go over the materials and some of the stitch pattern. Every row of this is going to be 186 stitches, except for the back section. It's all done in one piece except for the pockets. So you're going to go 186 stitches until the back section, which is only 93 stitches. I'm telling you this now because I won't have to tell you at the end of every row that it's 186 stitches or 93 stitches. We start with a beginning foundation chain, and each section or 3 rows of color are done the same except for the first and last section. This is the last section, this is the first section. They are done with half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet. Every other section in here is half double crochet, a window row, and half double crochet, and every section is worked in the 3 rows. So that's, and I'll step you through everything else. I did mine with a 6mm hook. You'll also, I find when I'm doing a large project, it's easiest for me if I put a stitch marker in the first and last stitch of each row, so that when I get to that stitch, I don't accidentally miss one. You'll need a pair of scissors for when you change color. I used mostly Bernat Cozy style yarn. This comes in, and I bought 1-pound balls. As you can see, it's 100% acrylic. There are 1,015 yards in these big skeins. This is what I have left of the red, of one red skein. This is what I have left. Let me see if I can't zoom you out a little bit. Zoom out. Oh, I zoomed the wrong way, so sorry. This is what I have left of 2 of the gray. So I went through an entire gray plus a little bit. On the black, there's black in my blanket and white. I used equal amounts. There, I believe, the equal numbers of sections of black and white, which is just like an accent. I did not go through one skein. This is the Craft Smart equal value yarn. I did not use one full skein of that. So, which means I did not, that should be, I believe, the same amount of yarn for the black as the white. That's all that you need to know about all of that. And like I said, this is what's left over. And now let's just get into it. Okay, so we're going to start with a half double crochet foundation chain. I'm rather new at these myself, so bear with me here. You can crochet a chain of 186 stitches and then come back and do half double crochet, but we're going to attempt to do this with a half double crochet foundation chain, which is chain 2, yarn over. I work in the back hump. That's what I like to do. And so you're going to put your hook in through that hump. You're going to yarn over. This is going to start your chains. So you got 3 loops on your hook, and you yarn over and pull through the first loop, and then you yarn over and pull through that loop again to give you your chain, and then you yarn over and pull through all 3. Now I like to hold my finger on the original chain, the one that's going to be my chain 1, my chain space, and then I know where to go for the next one. So then you go back through 2 loops, which is your original chain, like if you were chaining on the top or going through the top, and you pull up a loop. Now this is going to be your next chain. Don't make it too tight, and you pull through 1. Now that's our chain. I'm going to hold on to that while I yarn over and pull through all 3 for my half double. So now I know that those 2 that I was holding on to is where I'm going to chain and pull up a loop for my chain, and that's going to be this one. Is going to be my chain for the next one, and I'm going to hold on to that. That's my next chain, and then pull through my half double. So go back, put it in for my chain, next chain, Sure. Pull up that loop. That's going to be my next chain for the foundation, and then my half double to go with it. So we're going to do this. If I don't do it this way, I lose track of where I'm supposed to put my hook for the next foundation. But now see, we're getting a little chain here, and we're going to do this for 186 foundation half double crochets. And see, I just almost lost my space. Yep, I did that wrong, didn't I? Yep. So we're going to yarn over, go through your little chain space. Like I said, I'm new at this foundation chain stuff. And we're going to pull up our loop. I forgot to do this part and make my chain, and then go through and do that half double crochet. So you go in, don't split your yarn, pull up your chain, or pull up a loop for your chain, make your chain, and then make your half double crochet. So as I said, we're going to continue to do this, go all the way through till you have 186 half double crochets. And I'm not going to bore you with doing that, watching me, because I don't want you guys to see me make another mistake. So anyway, this is what we're starting to look like. And when you have 186 of these, I put the video back on, and I'll catch up to you, or you'll catch up to me, whatever that is, however that's going to work, and we'll get on with what we're going to do for the next row. Okay, see you then. So we have reached the end of row 1, and this I have 186 half double crochet foundation chain. And so for round 2, we're going to chain 1, turn your work. I do not like the chain 3 thing. I like to do what they call an alternative double crochet. This row is going to be all double crochet for row 2, and for the half double crochet, for the double crochet foundation chain, you insert your hook and you pull up a loop. You yarn over and you pull through 2, then you go through this first bump, or first side right here, and you put your hook in, you yarn over, you pull up a loop, and you pull through 2. That's how I do the start of all of my rows when I have a double crochet row. I believe it's called the alternative half double, or the alternative double crochet. My daughter calls it the fat boy. So that's my fat boy. And then we're just going to do double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And we are going to do that for every stitch all the way down. It's pretty simple, just double crochets all the way around, all the way down. I hope my dark table isn't a problem. So anyway, we're going to do this all the way till we get to the end. That will be 186 double crochets, including the fat boy. Now just remember, on your fat boy, this is your top stitch, not this over here, none of this over here. This is your top stitch. If you want to put a stitch marker in it, if you use this method and you want to put a stitch marker in it, feel free, so you know this is where your end is. I happen to have one over here, just in case I got confused on this end, because like I said, I'm not real good at that foundation half double crochet row. But you can mark this stitch, and you know when you get here on the return trip that that's your final stitch. Oop, duh, I just flipped it upside down. It's here. This is your final stitch right here. So if you want to mark it, go for it. Just a little stitch marker. And I have, just as a frequently, if I'm making a long chain like this, like every 25 or 50 stitches, I put a stitch marker in as I'm going, so that I don't have to go back and recount the whole thing 100 times. That's always just a nice little helpful hint. I will not mark this, but I will count that at the end. I do tend to still want to count all the time. You'd think by now I wouldn't count on such a simple thing, but sometimes you got to check yourself, and so sometimes I do. So this is row 2, and just do double crochets all. It's hard to do it this way in front of the camera. Anyway, double crochet in every stitch all the way down to the end, and I will meet you at the end of row 2. Alrighty, so I have 186 double crochets and a mess over here. So we are going to chain 1, turn our work for row 3. We are going to do, I'm just going to go right into the first stitch with the chain 1, after the chain 1, and we're going to do 1 row of half double crochets. So a half double crochet is put your yarn over the hook, insert the hook into the hole, into your stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. If you don't know how to do some of these stitches, there's like really a great deal of how to make crochet stitches all over YouTube. So there are people much better skilled at it than I to teach you, but again, for a half double, you just put your yarn over the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. This is one of my favorite stitches to do because it has just a little bit of height to it, that it makes it fast, enough height to make it fast, and enough to make it like steady, I guess. It's not too flimsy, but not a single crochet that it takes you forever to get any work done. So anyway, we are going to do half double crochets all the way across for 186 half double crochets. This section will be completed at the end of this row 3, and we will change color when we get to the start of the next section. Well, I will change color. You don't have to. You can stay keeping yours all one color if you want to, but the majority of the row repeats will start with the color change. So when I get back to you at the end of this round, I will come back with a second color. I'm going to use Scarlet next, and that's when we'll start our sections that will continue through the rest except for the last 3 rows before we do the border. So I will meet you back here at the end of row 3. Alrighty, so this is the last stitch, 186th stitch of row 3, and I'm going to change my color here. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and normally on a half double crochet I would yarn over and pull up another loop, but I'm going to take my new color thread or yarn and lay myself a little tail, and I'm going to yarn that one over. Let's see if we can get in here, and pull it up for a loop and do my chain 1. Now this yarn is my tails, because I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to chop an end off. I'm going to tie a little knot here just for safekeepings. I mean, why not? I'm going to tie this little knot. You won't even see it at the end. And I'm going to take these. Let's see. So I did my chain 1. I'm going to take these yarns right here, both of them. I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to turn my work, and I have a chain 1 in there, so I'm going to go into the first stitch here and do a half double crochet and another half double crochet, and I'm going to crochet over those ends. And the scheme of things, you won't even see that. I'm going to put a border down here, so if this shows up a little bit funky right there at the change here, when we put the border on, you won't see it. Now I don't have to weave in any ends, so I'm going to just crochet over these, single crochet all the way, or half double crochet all the way across for 186 stitches. And I just crochet these in all the way as long as they, whatever they are. And then keep going. So this is row 4, half double crochet. This would be the start of section 2, if we're going to count how many sections to go over to the next part of the tutorial. But we're going to do this section. I'm going to come back at the end here and show you the window stitch, and so I will meet you at the end of row 4. So I have completed row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and do that alternating double crochet again. So I'm pull up a loop, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, go into the side, yarn over and pull through 2. Again, my daughter calls that the fat boy. So now we're going to start our window row. Oops, I'm way off center here, sorry. We're going to start our window row, and if my calculations are correct, we're going to do 3 double crochet to start the row, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and that's going to be our repeat, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to do that all the way down on every window row. If everything works out like I think it should, at the end of this row you should have the last 3 stitches are double crochet. Did I chain 1? Oops, no, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. So I will meet you at the end, and let's see if it works out. Okay, so here I am at the end of row 4 or 5, and if you skip the 1, you'll see that the last 3 stitches are double crochet stitches, just like it worked out wonderfully. 1, 2, and 3 double crochet. Sure, come on. Okay, now for row 6, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and this is another half double crochet row, so go into the very first stitch, and we're going to do a half double crochet in every stitch and in every space all the way across. Just go around the chain, you don't have to fiddle with trying to get into the chain, just go around it. So every stitch and every chain space. Try not to do it too tight or you'll, pull it in, so we don't want to do that. So this is going to be our repeat for the rest of the Ruana until we get to the very last 3 rows, where we'll repeat the first section, but for these sections, I think there's a total of 42 sections. So for these 42 sections, and the section is, you know, each 3 rows is a section. So for the next, so sections 2 through 41, and don't confuse the section, this, you know, 3-row section, with actual rows, but for the duration of the next, until the last 3 rows anyway, we're going to just do this repeat of half double crochet, window row, half double crochet row. So I want you to do this on your own all the way through and including row 39, or having completed 13 sections. Change color. If you're following my color pattern, every other row will be your base color, or gray for me, and then whatever colors you choose in between, however you choose to do them. If you're going to just pick from a hat, or follow Nan's luck of the draw 3 or 4 or 5 or 1 2 1 2 through, you can do that and make it a little bit of a like mystery for yourself, which if I wasn't doing this to look like Ohio State, I was thinking of doing that to begin with, but I didn't pick out enough colors. So my next color definitely is going to be gray. Ohio State's colors are scarlet and gray, and then they have a little bit of black and white in it. So I'm going to go every other row gray for sure. I'm thinking, and I have to work it out. I have to sit down for a minute and like really figure out the pattern, but I'm thinking I'm going to go gray, red, gray, red, gray, white, gray, red, 2 rows of red, you know, and then a row of section of black. Like I'm going to alternate my non-grays with 2 rows of red, or 2 sections of red, then a section of white or black, and then a section of red, 2 sections of red. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that's going to work out. I want it to work out so that when we're doing the pocket row, which starts at row 40, or the beginning of section 14, I want that row not to contain black because, you know, black is hard, and so I want to see if I can work it out that I don't have to contain black on rows that I'm going to actually be videotaping. So that might mean, hopefully I can work that out anyway. So back to the tutorial. Just continue this pattern through row 39 or section 13. When we start section 14 and row 40, I will meet you back here. Happy hooking. I'll see you in a little bit. Alrighty, so we had to come back to round 40, or row 40. Now, if you're, let's see, it goes this way. Let's put it together the right way. So this is the end, and I've started row 40 here. Whoa. Oops, it fell off. Okay, come on, get back up here. So row 40 is a color change row and a half double crochet row. You should have 13 sections. So this is starting your 14th section. I always mark, when I'm doing something large stitch count, I always mark the first and the last stitch on every row so that I don't accidentally miss it. And for any of you that are newer crocheters, I think it's a really good idea. I mean, if you have to count 20 stitches in a row, no big deal. If you're counting 186 stitches every few rows to make sure you're on track, that gets to be a real pain in the arse, right? It takes a long time. So I do mark my first stitch. When I finish that stitch, I mark it with a marker, and then when I know that's the last one when I'm coming back. But for this, on row 40, we're going to go 126 stitches. So, which is There it is, right here. And I did obviously do that already, because by now you know how to do the half double crochet row, and this is what that is. And let me just take that stitch marker off. So you do 126 out of your 186 stitches. This end now will be forever and always the back of the bottom. I'm hoping that this works out, that we don't have to cut the thread and start at one end. I think it works out, but we'll see when we get there anyway. So we get to 126 half double crochet on row 40, and then we're going to loosely, so you might want to get a bigger hook, that'll be on you, but you could get a bigger hook, but you want to loosely, so that you keep up with this, chain 20. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, what about a frame? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then we're going to, not lose that last stitch. 20. And we're going to skip 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And in the 21st stitch, which is this one right here, while I get my hook together, we're going to continue our half double crochet row. Come on. Right in there, and then, oops, what did I do? All twisted. Come on now. Work with me here. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to continue our half double crochet row just for the rest of the, what it should be 26 stitches to go down the half double crochet row. Is 126 and 20 is 146, so then it needs another 40 to get to 186. So just like every other row, go all the way down, and I will meet you back at the end. So now for row 41, I finished row 40 with the half double crochet row. Turn and chain your chain. This is going to be your window row, so we're doing the 3 double crochets to start with, and then the chain 1 skip 1 part, just like normal. And now I've gotten up to near the pocket, and we're going to continue our chain 1 skip 1. So this is a chain 1 space right here, skip that space, go into this stitch and make your double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, go into this one and make your double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. I like to do back bumps. Now later we'll go through and finish the pocket, but I don't do that till the end. And we're going to chain 1, skip 1. And we're just going to do this through the whole pocket and then all the way, the rest of the way up, just like normal. Oh gosh, if I could just get it on there. And this is why you needed to do this loose, so you could go into the chain. You don't really, I guess, don't have to go into the chain. You could go around it, but I think it'll be more stable if you go into it. Particularly if you plan on using the pockets, I think you want to, you know, try to go into the stitch. And now I'm just going to continue chaining one and double crochet, chain one, skip one, double crochet, chain one, skip one, all the way to the end. Then my next row again will be the half double crochet row. Then I'll go back to my gray color, which is my basic color, my base color I should say. And we're just going to continue this same pattern that we've been doing all the way until we get through row 58. So this is row 41. We're going to continue to make the front and back all the way along for, let's see, this will be row 41, so 17 more rows, or I believe that is six more sections. No, 8, yeah, 6 more sections. We had 39 sections coming to the pocket, and there should be 6 sections, including this red one, including this section, so 5 sections after this. 18 rows total. 18 divided by 3 should be 6, right? So we're going to continue this until we are on, we have completed, I have it written down, row 58. So row 59 is where I need you to start the video back up again before you start row 59. That's when we're going to make some changes again for our neckline. So I will see you back at the start of row 59. Happy hooking. Okay, so we are back at row 58. Now I've taken the liberty to start row 58. And it's just like any other row as far as we're going to do the half double crochet row. Now in the past we've done 186 stitches in every row. Now starting at the bottom of your, this should be the bottom of your Ruana, where you're going to change color, and we're going to start row 58 with a change of color, and we're going to do our half double crochet just like we've been doing in the past, but we're only going to go halfway. So we started with 186 stitches. So halfway for this is going to be, there we go, 93. Half of 186 is 93. So I did mark, I cheated and put a stitch marker in so I know where to stop. I tend to, when I'm doing a big project, I like to put my stitch marker in at the beginning and end of every row on the first and last stitch. So I know where to go and I shouldn't have to count every single stitch, every single row. I do, though, periodically check and do count every stitch just to make sure that I'm at the right number. But we're going to go to row, or to the count of 93 if you started with 186, just halfway. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And I'm only doing half. I've pulled out yarn so I don't get, stuck anywhere. Oh, there we go. I'm going to do what my daughter calls the fat boy, my alternate turning chain, and do my first double crochet there. And I'm going to, mark that first stitch so that I don't have to count all 93 stitches again at the end. And just like on every other window row, I'm going to do 3 stitches at the beginning, and then I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, down the whole row. When you get to the bottom, you're going to do your 3 double crochet in the last 3 stitches and turn your work and continue on with your half double crochet row in this color. And when you get to the end of that row, you're going to change colors. And we're going to continue on these short rows of your back, making your neckline through row 69. We're going to complete row 69 for a total of 12 short rows. So this is row 58, 12 rows. I know it sounds like it should be 70, but I believe we really do end on 69. In row 70 starts the next series of rows where we'll be starting the second side, your right side of your Ruana. So continue your same pattern, but just only do it at 93 stitches. Now, of course, mind you, if you started your Ruana at a different stitch count than 186 that I started mine on, because you're taller than I am, and you wanted it longer, or because you just didn't want it as long as mine is, and you made it shorter, you just want to go halfway. And it should work out that you still end at the 3 stitches on both ends of your Ruana, at the top and the bottom of your row. Cross your fingers that works out for us and that my math is good. I mean, it worked out before, so why wouldn't it work out now, right? Okay, so good luck with that, and I will see you at the beginning of row 70. Okay, so I finished my short rows. You see, they're the short rows for my back, and I started row 70, which is my half double crochet row. Now, I just went ahead and my row 70 is black. And I know you can't see black on video. You won't be able to see the stitches. So I crocheted up to the end close here to the end of my 93rd chain. And I'm just going to do the 2 stitches here, half double crochets, and I'm going to just do this in gray so you can see. And my 93rd stitch is right here. Now we have a problem because we have no more stitches, but we got to get to the whole 186 stitches again. So what we're going to do is do the foundation half double crochet. Now I'm going to attempt to show you this. I'm not the greatest at this stitch, but we'll make it work. So you're going to yarn over, and I'm going to see if I can get in a little closer. Oh, that's further away. And focus, there we go. So we're going to go into the side of your half, this is your last half double crochet here. We're going to go into the side right here, these 2 stitches. Put them on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 stitches. And then yarn over and pull through the stitch you just made. Now that gives you your foundation. That's your chain, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. Now I hold on to that chain because otherwise I get lost. So then I'm going to yarn over, go into those 2 chains that I just did. So now I've got those extra 2 stitches on my hook right here. I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 2. And then yarn over to create the chain and pull through that last stitch. Now I got my chain, yarn over and pull through all 3. So yarn over and put your hook through the 2 chains you just made that you were hanging on to. Yarn over, pull through those chains, And then you got to yarn over again to make your single crochet at the bottom, or your chain at the bottom of your work. See how that's making a little chain there? And then I hold on to that so I know which ones I'm at. And then I yarn over and pull through all 3. Yarn over, pull through the 2 you're holding on to, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through that loop to make your chain. Now I hold on to it so I don't lose it. Yarn over and pull through all 3. So you're going to make your chain and your half double crochets just like this all the way till you have 193. I mean 186. So we're going to go from 93 on our back. Let me pull you out here again. So our back now has 12 rows of 93 stitches, and so now we're going to, on row 70, add until we get to 186, back to our regular beginning chain, beginning size of half double crochets. We're going to continue to do that and then continue our pattern, come back with your window row, and then come back to your half double crochet row, change your color. We're going to go away and we're going to do all of that. This row is row 70 that we're going to start with our, we're starting to make the second side. Let me get back to where I can see here. And so we're going to go through row 87. So you're going to do 17 more rows, which will give you 29 colors. So I think it's 6 color changes. But it'll be row 87, and that's where we're going to do our pockets. We're just doing the reverse of what we did on the first half. So we need to go from row 70 to row 87. So row 88 is going to be where we start our chain for our pocket. So once you get through this, then the rest of it's just what you've been doing, changing your colors until you get to through row 87. And then row 88, I will come back and we'll work on our pocket. But this should get you through. If I didn't explain this process very well, please feel free to go to YouTube and see how you half double crochet. Foundation half double crochet. The only thing is that when you do one of those tutorials, they're starting from the beginning, whereas in this, we're starting from already having stitches here. So instead of like, they'll have you chain 2 and I don't know. But we're just going to start with going right into the side of a stitch that we already have there. And then do your half double crochets. So I'm going to pull this gray out because it obviously doesn't belong there, and continue on with my black. And then go back about my pattern, and I will see you guys at row 88. Okay, so this is row 88, and I've had to change my color back to white, and I did take the liberty to crochet up, and then we're just going to make the other pocket. So you need to do your half double crochet row on row 88 up to and including stitch number 126, just like we did before for the other pocket. And then we're going to loosely crochet 60, or not 60, 20 double or 20 chains. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 and 20, and then we're, whoops, come back here. We're going to skip 20 stitches here and restart with our half double crochets. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20, and we're going to go into the 21st stitch and continue our half double crochets down the rest of the row. Oh, come back over here. And at the end, including the chain stitches, you will still have 100 and, what do we have, 186 stitches. So and then we're going to come back and just repeat our window row, but I'll meet you right as we get back to the pocket, so we can do that pocket part together again. And so I'll meet you back when I'm coming back to the pocket. Okay, so I'm here at the pocket. I've done a double crochet, chain 1, so now we're going to skip the next stitch. And as you know, I like to go into the back loop, so I'm just going to turn it over and do the back loop and do my double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, go into the back loop, and just continue your pattern all the way across the chain for the pocket. Oh no, I split my yarn. Can you believe that? Okay. And I don't know about you guys, but for me it's a little slower when you're working on the chain. But it's worth it in the long run. Worth it in the long run. So you're going to go all the way through and continue your window row of, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Just like you've been doing for the whole thing, and we're going to then just continue the whole pattern just like we were. So the next row after this one is going to be your half double crochet row, then you'll change color and half double crochet, then window, and your other color if you're changing colors. And we're going to continue this pattern until we have 126 rows, which I'm not going to go through all 126 rows with you. But we're just a couple more stitches here till the end. At the end of this, you should still have your 186 stitches. Oh, I'm trying not to be out of focus here. There we go. At the end, you'll still have your 186 stitches in every row for 126 rows. So just keep going. I'll meet you back at the end of the 126th row, and we can start a border and put the pockets in. And the border can be anything that you want, but no, there we go. I'm just going to do a half double crochet, I think 1 row around on this for the border. But we'll talk about that when we come back, and which for you guys will be a minute. For me will be a couple of days of crocheting, and I'll see you in a few. Bye. So I just wanted to pop in and reiterate, I am on row 125. Excuse me. This would normally be your window row, but there's 126 rows altogether in this Ruana. And just like at the beginning, here's the beginning. To help stabilize and make it stronger, we did half double crochet, and then where the window row is, we didn't do a window row, we did the solid row, and now a half double crochet. So this is normally the window row, but I'm going to make this a solid row of half double crochet. And then I will come back for row 126 and do the regular half double crochet, tie off, and finish the regular part of the blanket. Excuse me. Then we'll come back to do when it's completed. When I finished row 126, I will come back and show you the border, and we'll talk about the pockets and get that started for you, because both of those processes should be pretty quick. It'll be 2 different steps though, and both the pockets are the same. So just make sure that you make row 125 a solid double crochet row so that it matches the other side. I really hoped and prayed that this would work out to be a gray row, just like my original started in gray, but with my colors, the way that I'm putting them together, it worked out to be a white row. But my border is going to be gray, so that at least and the whole thing will be gray in that way. So I will meet you back here. I'm going crocheting right off the camera. I'll meet you back here at the end of row 126 when the basic part of your Ruana is complete. If you haven't sewn in ends, you know, as you go, sew them in anytime. Don't, I haven't sewn in, and I crocheted over, but now I want to sew in too, so that they don't come out at all. So I'll be back at the end of row 126, which is your half double crochet row. All right, now let's start with the border. Now I just attached my yarn in a corner. The corners will be, well, you have to make a decision how many rows of border you're going to do. On my Ruana, I did 3 rows of border. On my husband's, I did 1. On this one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do 1 row of border. And I'm going to attach in the corner, and the corners on mine, I'm still going to do, just in case I decide to do 3 rows of border, or more than 1 row of border, I'm going to do one, my border is going to be half double crochets. So I'm going to do a half double. When I come back around, I'm going to do a half double chain 2. So on the side, you know, you just kind of want to like go in each as best you can and make it an even number. I know sides are hard, but this is a double crochet, a half double crochet row, and then you're going to do a double crochet row. So, you know, you just have to kind of evenly space your half doubles throughout as best you can. Wherever you can. That's, so just go through. I'll meet and do, you know, join it, and then just do some half doubles along the edge, because we're just going to want to give it a nice little border. You know, the double crochet rows, you might want to do 2, and then the half doubles 1. That's what I'm going to try to work out. We'll see how well I work that out. Sometimes I work that out better than other times. Spacing borders is always a problem for me. But anyway, that's what I want you to do, is go through and screw that up there. Just put a little edging, and then I will meet you when we get to the corner. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the corner. If this is your last, and this is what it's looking like, you know, maybe kind of go sometimes 2 in the double crochet and 1 in the half double, kind of is what I was kind of going for. And when you get to the corner, you're going to go half double crochet, chain 2, so you can make the corner. Now I need more yarn. Here we go. And another half double crochet to come around the corner. So if you do more than 1 row, you can come, let me pull this. You can come into this chain 2 space, and this is where you'll make the next row of borders in this chain 2 space. On your last row, now you can just continuously do that, you know, always double crochet, chain, or half double, chain 2, half double in your chain 2 space here, or on your last row of border, if you decide to do, you know, additional rows, you want it longer, you can always do 3 half doubles on your finished row. Do 3 half doubles in here. I'm undecided. I 99% think I'm only going to do 1 row of border here, but I want to leave myself the option. If I put the 1 row in and I don't think it looks good enough, then I'm going to do a 2nd row, or maybe a 3rd row, or maybe I'll decide, oh, I really wanted to have a red row, you know, so maybe I'll, and that's what I'm not 100% sure of, is if I want to have on mine, if I want the border to be multiple colors. You know, if I'm thinking I might want to go the red, or the gray, red, gray. but maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep it one row of gray. I haven't decided yet. So then when you turn your corner, then you're just going to do half double crochet in each stitch. And I started mine at the bottom of the front so that I could show you the corner on the outside, but as we crochet along, I'm going to come to an inside corner here. And so I'm going to pause this video and show you what happens when you get to the inside corner around the neck. But all of your outside corners are going to look like this. You know, the half double, chain 2 half double, or 3 doubles in the same space. So I'll meet you at the inside corner in just a moment. Okay, so now here I am coming up on the inside corner. And please just cross your fingers. I had to put my camera on the work, so I hope I don't lose my camera. So now I want you to kind of look at the construction here, because this is my own kind of winged it way to doing a corner, I think. I'm not sure that this would be like the industry standard on how you should do this, but this is what I've done. So this stitch is coming along, and you can see that these stitches are now lining up with this stitch. It's all going to be in the same row. So we're not going to crochet into this stitch right here on the red stitch. We're going to come along and go like more up into here, where we will be going into the double crochet section, because we kind of already got this. So when we're coming here, we're going to go into here. We're not going to go into here to give us room, because these stitches, as I said, line up. So if we put a stitch in here, we're jumbling. We don't have space. So let's just see how this goes. We're going to insert here and make a stitch. See, now we're not going to go into that one, or else we don't have time. We'll be right up on each other, and you can't get over to here. So then we're just going to make our next, we're going to skip this next stitch right here, and we're going to skip this area because we kind of already have that stitch. And we're going to come over here, and we're going to make a half double crochet. And then we're just going to continue to half double crochet. This is my woven in end stuff right there, so we're just going to crochet over that. And just kind of, you know, fill it in across, because now we're working on the back of the neck. And I really have to be careful not to move my camera as I move the fabric, because I have the camera sitting directly on my fabric. So we're going to come along to over here. I'll just go in there somewhere. And I just kind of wing this too, because, you know, it's the side of the stitch of the previous row or rows, and it's kind of, you don't get your little V's to tell you where to go. So you just kind of, you know, space them out. That's what everyone says. Space them out evenly. Oops. And we're almost to the next corner, so I'm just going to show you. Now, I'm at that same corner, and I'm going to have the same issue. So I'm not going to crochet into here. I'm going to skip that. And I'm not going to crochet into this first V. I know this is black, I am sorry. But I'm not going to crochet into this first V. I'm going to go into the second V to do my half double. Because, as you can see, this is lining up just like we talked about before. So these stitches are kind of already taken. So I'm going to skip this one and go into this next one and do my half double. And yeah, it leaves a little bit of a hole, but it's a corner, and that's, you know, inside corners, you get that. There is another way that you can do it if you don't want such a big hole, but I think that this way will be better if you're going to do more rows of border. And this kind of leaves like a raglan. You could do where you go into here, you go into here, go into here, go into here, make it all one stitch and combine those 4 stitches into a corner. But then you've got to do that every single time too. And it kind of rounds out your corner. This kind of keeps it more square. So I'm showing you this way because this is what I think it works out the best. So then you're just going to go all the way around. Now these are the only inside corners obviously that you have, are these 2 right here. And we've gone over that. So now if you're confused, just rewind the video, and I know this is black, but this is just half double crochets. You guys know how to do that. We've done a lot of those. So just half double crochet all the way around. When you get to your rest of your outside corners, it's half double, chain 2, half double. Unless you've decided that it's your last row of border, then you might want to just do 3 half doubles in that corner space, chain space. But that's totally a matter of up to your own choice. So go all the way around as many times as you want to make your border. As I said, I'm still undecided. I'm going to get this border on and then decide if I want to do more, a larger border, with the red in the middle, which would look really cool up against the black and the whites on the edges. So I just might do that. Maybe I'll just do it in the neckline section, because on this side of my neckline I have the white or the black and then the gray, and then if I did a row white and another row gray, or black, gray, red, gray, would look really cool, because on the opposite side of the neckline, watch, I'm just going to knock everything down. Oh no, it's gray. It's gray. So it wouldn't be the gray. I thought I had white, but no, I don't. I have gray there. So anyway, do whatever it works for your colors. What you feel you want to do as far as the border goes, choice is yours. If you want to do a fancier border, feel free. This is the border that I chose because it matches the stitches. And I like the half double crochet stitch. It's one of my favorites. So I will meet you for the pocket when you're done with your border. Okay, so I finished the border. I just did the 1 row so far, but for purposes of the tutorial, it doesn't matter if I add the red or not, and do more. So, but to do the pockets, now because this is, you're turning your work, there is no front or back side. So it doesn't matter where you put the pocket through can go to either side. The pocket will have a front and back side, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to go around in a circle. So we're going to attach our yarn, and then just in every stitch, I'm starting with a half double crochet in each stitch all the way around, and then I'll go down to a double crochet. So this is a chain space, do your double crochet in your stitch, double crochet. I think the half double will just be a little bit stronger, wider for stronger and wider. So anyway, you don't have to worry about being on the front side or the back side. It's just a pocket. And it can turn either direction. So I'm going to go all the way around with just putting a half double crochet in each stitch. You can do the half double crochets for your whole pocket. Oops, we're getting off camera here. I would recommend a single crochet for the inside of the pocket just to make it less holes. And you can make your pockets as long or short as you want. I did mine to be long enough to hold my phone, or a water bottle. You know, a 16-ounce water bottle. Well, this one's twisted, so I'm just going to do 2 there and not worry about it. So now when you come to your corner, you just fill some stitches in. You should end up, and it doesn't have to be a perfect count because it's just the pocket. So just make it however it works for you. You're going to have somewhere 40, you'll probably 40, maybe 45 stitches. I mean, there's 20 stitches in the chain. And then you might want to add a stitch or 2 around the edge. So you're probably, I'm going to probably have about 44 or 45 stitches here. And then I'm just going to continuously go around and around until it's as long as what I want it to be. And like I said, I made my pockets long enough that they would hold not only my phone, but they would hold a water bottle securely. Because I don't want anything falling out when I'm walking around the campground. And I made these for walking around the campground. In the, chilly spring, fall evenings, even a chilly summer evening. They're kind of hot for a summer evening, even if it's a chilly one, but they do, I wanted the pockets to be substantial enough. So I'm just going to go around and around, and I'm almost through back to the beginning. So I did not count my pockets length, but they're probably 8 inches long. Because a water bottle does fit securely and covers the top, all the way in there. And this is where it gets a little tricky because you kind of, for me, it's a little tricky right here I'd be turning it differently if I was not in front of the camera. But you want to grab as much of the thread as you can. So when you get back to the beginning, I'm just going to go with a single crochet to join it, and then I'm just going to do single crochets all the way around until I get my pocket as long as I want it to be. And now I've got to cool, back this way. Here we go. So now I'm just going to do single crochets so I don't have as big spaces between if I wanted to put, I don't know, anything to help keep it in there, And you're going to do this on both pockets until you get them to the size that you want. If there's anything specific, like I specifically wanted mine to be long enough to hold the water bottle. If you don't need it that big, then stop sooner. And then once you have it to that length, then I just did a single crochet join across the bottom because you don't see it, it's the pocket, so it doesn't really matter. The row count doesn't matter, just as long as it's the size you need. And the only reason you might want to count the rows is so that your pockets are the same size, because that's probably good. Now also remember, this is completely reversible. It doesn't matter which side goes showing out front. They are the same because, we chain one and turned every time. So they are the same. So the pocket will have an inside and an outside, but because you keep the pocket on the inside of the garment, it doesn't matter which side of the pocket is the inside or the outside. So if you put it on and your pocket's hanging out, just flip your pocket inside. It doesn't matter. Makes it really easy and convenient. All right, so I will see you at the end and just show you, I think, how to end the pocket with a double crochet together, and then we'll be done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Probably I might not even do the pocket join. Well, I will. So I'll see you at the end of the pocket join, and then we'll be done. Alrighty, so I made my pockets 28 rows, which is big enough that it holds my cell phone and or a bottle of water. The water bottle might stick out a little bit at the top, but it's not going to just fall out on you. When I didn't count the rows on the first pocket. This is the second pocket. I didn't count the rows when I was doing it on the first pocket. I just kept holding my phone up, and when it was big enough, and then I held up a water bottle, and when it was big enough, then I was done. And then I wanted to get back to where the pocket lays flat in the vertical row here. I know it's a big mess. So when it, so crochet around until it's flat. And then I just do a single crochet join. If I can not pull out my stitch. Okay, we'll pull that one up. And get my little splitty right there. Come on now. You can't even see. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to do a single crochet into 4 from, 2 loops on each side and single crochet. And then go into the next one and get your 2 loops on each side and single crochet. 2 loops all the way across, 2 loops from each side. And I'm just going to do that till I get all the way to the end. Then I'm going to fasten off, weave in any ends that I still have left. And your Ruana is completely and 100% done. Yay! Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed this video, this tutorial. I haven't done a lot of these, so I'm real grateful for any comments. And I would love to see pictures of your completed projects. You can just post them to my Facebook group page, which is linked below all of my videos and the tutorials that I also have. So thanks again so much for participating, and I hope you enjoy your Ruana.